This week on Exclamation Mark Cafe, we learn how to make perfect latte art. Okay, maybe we'll stick with the AeroPress. Hey all you cool cappuccinos and latte lovers out there in coffee land. Welcome to Exclamation Mark Cafe. I'm your host Mark, and this week on Exclamation Cafe we'll be dialing in our Iconoclast coffee filter beans. Since we've been away, I've been fine-tuning the recipe for that particular bean, and I'm going to put together my peak performance and give you the best show I got. You may notice a new addition to the studio kitchen cafe. We got our Exclamation Mark in from Church of Birch, and it's all installed. Took us quite a while to decide where it goes, but it went there. Our nation beers are proudly on display underneath. Some Chinese chopsticks. I don't know what they're doing there. And yeah, some beans. Weird. A different kind of beans. I wonder what those could be for. Anyways, we're going to get right into it. But first, Mark and the Bean Talk. Wish I had a cool little intro for this segment. Maybe we'll come up with that in the next episodes. Okay, this week on Mark and the Bean Talk, I'm talking alternative methods to my fancy devices. Like if you're at home and you're thinking, Mark, I want to brew the perfect cup of coffee, but I don't want to spend all this money on fancy kettles, scales, and you need a thermometer and you probably need a grinder. But if you want to do this on a budget and simple, I got some simple little hacks for you. So you take your mom's Pyrex measuring cup, put in 200 milliliters of water, take out the metal thermometer, put it in the microwave. 2.5 minutes for us. That gets us 90°C water out of the microwave. It's going to be different on every microwave. But what I do is I put the tap all the way to cold, run it for 15 seconds, 10-15 seconds, and then slam it in the microwave. Now, if you have a filter system like out of the fridge, that's better. Or a Brita, you could leave on your countertop overnight, just so your starting temperature is always at the same spot. Throw it in the microwave, and if you got a meat thermometer, you can find out how long it needs to be, and that's a way to get the exact same temperature water. If you don't have a scale, you can use scoops. So right here, we got a level tablespoon of medium ground coffee. We're gonna weigh it out for you guys. So that's about 6 grams. Let's go with 2. Shockingly, 12 grams. And 3. I'm running out of grinds. So we're at just shy of 18 grams, which would be the perfect amount to dump into your AeroPress. So 3 tablespoons, 2 minutes, 30 seconds in the microwave. Have an AeroPress, $40, perfect cup of coffee. That's it for Mark and the Bean Talk. All right, so as I mentioned earlier, today we're doing the perfect recipe for the Iconoclast Filter Coffee beans in the AeroPress. So this would be like my routine for the World AeroPress Champions. Some of the stuff is a little extreme or exaggerated. You don't need to do it. You can always stick to the basics, but remember, it's whatever works for you. Okay, here we go. Perfect cup of coffee, Iconoclast beans. We're gonna start off by using our beans. We got them at the medium grind setting. Same grind setting that we've been using in the first few videos, so if you want to know more about that, check it out. Then we're going with 17 grams and 200 milliliters of water for our brew ratio. Always using the freshest ground beans, and usually about 1 week after the roasting date is when it's ideal for brewing. Okay, so we've leveled our bed. We got our 17 grams in. Let's rinse our paper filter. That can hang out over there. This week we're using the inverted method in the AeroPress, if you didn't notice earlier. So we just put the plunger in, flip this thing upside down, and that allows us to pour the water without losing anything through the filter. So we're gonna do a little bloom phase. So we're just getting all the coffee wet. So I added about 42 grams of the water there, and that's about 30 seconds you want to do that bloom phase. Then you add the rest of the water, and the reason you do the bloom phase is to get rid of the CO2, and the CO2 has the sour taste. So I've noticed that this particular bean is a little bit sour, a little bit citrusy. So to try and overcome that, we did a little bloom. Now we're gonna stir with our Chinese chopsticks. I got these in China on a trip. I went with my dad a few years ago, and I know that the only way to get a perfect cup of coffee using these beans is to use these chopsticks from the mom and pop tourist souvenir store that I went to. So you all need to get a pair of these. You stir 20 times. Okay, so we're shooting for about 1.5 minutes brew time. We're already a minute in with that 30-second bloom. So now you just put the basket on with your pre-rinsed filter, push the air out, and then you take the cup, put it on top, and give it a flip. So that's the way to do it without putting your hand on the barrel or causing any explosions. We're at 1:30 brew time here. Let's go 1:40, and we press. Now, one thing I haven't looked into too much is like how long after a coffee's been brewed should you taste it? Because I've noticed making some mistakes while filming and stuff that the coffee sitting here for 5 minutes tastes better than the stuff right out of the chute. So I saw in some AeroPress recipes, they do a fancy little dump and twirl. So if that cools off the coffee or just takes time, and look at that color. So I'm a wuss, and I like a little colder coffee than normal. Like, you can serve coffee all the way up to 70 or 80 degrees Celsius. I don't like that. I like it to be lower than 60, sometimes 50 degrees. And that's one of the things I don't like about going to shops, is their coffee is always nuclear hot. So we're at 60, so we're just gonna let that sit for a second. We're 3 minutes into our brew, and then we're gonna taste. Okay, so it's been a minute since we've done our silly little pour back and forth, and I'm ready to taste. First, let's see how it smells on the nose. Smells good. It's light. It's kind of like a flowery bouquet, if you will. It's, I don't know, like a spring breeze. It's not overpowering like coffee in the morning at the cabin, some Folgers or whatever. Like, you aren't going to smell this cup two rooms away. We'll go in for some tastes. Wow. Bam. Yeah, I've been playing around a lot with these beans, and I've been fine-tuning every little adjustment that I can make, and like, I've really hit it home. I drink this every day. This is an amazing cup of coffee. To my flavor profile, this is what I enjoy. So it's light, it's a little citrusy, super more on the acidic side than anything else. I'm not getting too much chocolate or anything. Like, maybe on the heavier end flavors, I'm getting a little bit of woodiness. Yeah, it's a really good cup of coffee. Let's have another sip. man, that is like juice. Like if you are a non-coffee drinker and you wanted to try coffee for the first time, come over to my place and I'll make you a cup of this, because this tastes like nothing you've ever tried before. It's amazing. It's just so pleasant to drink. It's so light and full of flavor. Anyways, I think we nailed it. Like we've spent 3 episodes on this particular bean, and I think it's time to move on. I think we have something coming down the pipelines in the future, but that's a secret. Anyways, we'll look to see you in the next episodes. Hope you enjoyed this one. We'll talk to you soon.